And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Tornado Talk. We're here on Monday nights where we talk all things Brevard College athletics. And glad you're able to join us once again for an edition of Tornado Talk Monday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, or YouTube. Want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College athletics: Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, Cooper Construction, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their patronage of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. We couldn't do it without them, and hopefully you, the viewer, can show your appreciation to those sponsors, and we'll give them another shout out before the evening's over. Well, I do want to recap you of what happened around here at Brevard College over the weekend, because there was an extraordinary result in men's soccer, the season opener for the Tornadoes. Yesterday, right here at Brevard College on Ives Lamel Family Field, the day actually started with a snowstorm overnight, so a lot of work was put in to get the field into playing condition. And then once that game started, it was all Tornadoes. 7 different Tornadoes finding the back of the net, an 11-1 victory. The score was 9-0 before the first half had concluded. And Francesco Bonametti, the sophomore from Italy, this was his first career game, and he earns a hat trick in his first contest for the Tornadoes. 3 goals, also had an assist. That all adds up to 7 points for Bonametti. Pedro Herrera, the sophomore, with a pair of goals and assist. JP Swarty with 2 goals. Marquise Dickerson, Vinny Giannichini, Rami Kadri, Adam Spencer, all with goals. Kadri, O'Callaghan, Da Silva, Sinkamba, and Sanchez with assists. A 10-goal margin against an NCAA Division II foe, Southern Wesleyan out of South Carolina. And just an incredible outburst. Most goals scored in a single game in the NCAA era, a new record there. And Bonametti ties a couple other players in the history books with the 3 goals. So congratulations, a great start. If you recall, the Tornadoes were really working hard over the fall with some intense inter-squad scrimmages throughout the fall to get ready for this moment. And the Tornadoes, certainly served notice with the 11-1 lead over Southern Wesleyan. Well, the other team that was in action to get this weekend going as far as Brevard College Tornado Athletics was the women's basketball team. And they made their season debut in Lookout Mountain, Georgia, a USA South Conference matchup against Covenant, actually 2 games. And we will be bringing in a couple guests just momentarily here from the Brevard College women's basketball team. The Tornadoes facing off against the Covenant Scots on both Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, losing both of those games, but I know it was a very gratifying weekend regardless. And joined now by the head coach of the women's basketball team, head coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, Phil. Doing okay. Thanks for having me on the show.
Very good. Well, appreciate you joining us. And I know we're working through some of these, the world of Zoom meetings, technology, and, this new normal, always, a high wire act, but glad you're able to join us. And Coach, what I'd like to start with is, there's multiple postponements, multiple cancellations, and you guys finally had the opportunity to play this past weekend. Can you kind of tell us, what it felt like to finally get the team on the bus and on their way to, Covenant?
Yeah, it felt right, Phil. It felt right. That's something that we've been waiting for since the beginning of January. We dealt with the multiple postponements that you just talked about, and just getting the girls on the bus and getting that road trip and just feeling like we're a part of the season now. We've done nothing but practice. done nothing but practice since October, and having this game and getting the road trip, it just felt right, and everybody kind of felt we're like in their place, me back on the sideline and everything. And it just felt right, Phil. And I'm really glad that we got a chance to get back on the floor. Glad the girls got a chance to go out there and compete against somebody else. And it was also fun for me, to be back on the sideline doing what I love to do.
Yeah, multiple hurdles had to be overcome, both on the Brevard side, also the opponent side. And then finally, the kind of like the all clear notice came, late last week that, hey, this game is on, and a celebration sort of ensued, at least, internally within the athletic department, because, all of us here at Brevard College knew just, how long of a road this has been for the women's basketball team. And even, the Covenant folks were excited for us, from an administration side of things, that this game was going to happen. So, a real feel-good moment. Coach, you remember where you were when you saw the email that said, hey, it's officially on?
I believe. Yeah, I believe either I was on my way home or I was in my apartment when I got the email that we were all good to go. And after that email went out, Miranda, our president, and Debbie, and a few more people kind of sent emails to the team, getting the team excited and ready to go. And everybody just expressing how happy they were for us to finally get a chance to play.
Now, if you can tell us a little bit about the games themselves. I know it's not the result you were hoping for, but from a team growth standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint, what went down this weekend in Covenant?
Yeah, like you said, Phil, it definitely was not the desired result. We didn't go over there to lose both of those games, but we just didn't play well. We didn't handle the pressure well. That was the main thing with both games over the last day and the last 2 days. And that's something that we're going to see from here on out. I feel like when other teams kind of see the kind of trouble we have with their pressure, I think more teams are going to try to do that to us. And so let's be ready for it the next time. But other than that, it was good to get this game on film, get this game on film for myself as well. I knew the spots that we would kind of needed some work with, but it even helped me even more just to see us against somebody else. So now we were able to go back to the drawing board and work on the things that we had the most trouble with. And so it was really good just to get out there and get that experience under our belt. And if you watch the games, you could tell early on that we were kind of jittery. We really couldn't hold on to the ball. It's like the ball had oil on it. Like it was just slipping out of our hands, and our decision-making wasn't great. But as the game wore on and we went into the second game, we started to ease up a little bit. I could see the team kind of like the nerves start to go away. We started to play basketball. Like going into Saturday, like we didn't get the desired result, but we played much better. Our turnovers were down, and we did a better job on the offensive glass, with their offensive glass. They really beat us up on Friday night going to the glass, and we did a much better job of taking care of that Saturday. But so we're just going to look at this film. We'll watch it tomorrow as a group. We'll be very critical of it. We'll make the adjustments and be better for it starting tomorrow and going into this weekend.
Yeah, and originally when the schedule was announced, it seemed like there was going to be these, weekday stretches without games, and then you'd prepare and then have games on the weekend. But because of the postponement, now we suddenly have some weekday games beginning tomorrow, Tuesday, here at the Boschmer Gymnasium against Agnes Scott. That's a game that was previously postponed, but so actually short turnaround is the reality. Can you talk about that a little bit as far as the preparation goes in this short amount of time?
Yeah, like you said, Phil, it's a quick turnaround. We played Friday, Saturday. We took yesterday off because we played a lot of minutes. So I just want to get their legs back up under them. This morning we had a solid practice. It was a lot of us. We didn't talk too much about Agnes Scott. I was more concerned about the things that we're doing. We'll be ready for them. We'll talk pregame tomorrow about the scouting report and everything, so the girls will be prepared. But like you said, we got to put this bad taste that we had in our mouth this weekend, get rid of that, move on to tomorrow, hopefully get a win.
And then back to action again. USA South Conference play continues. Maryville will visit the Bosch this weekend. Can you tell us kind of what the rest of the week looks like from a practice and scheduling standpoint heading into the weekend affair?
Yes, sir. Like tomorrow, we'll have our pregame meal around 3:30. We'll watch some film. We'll be ready to play at 6. After that game, we'll try to get off of our feet. We'll take Wednesday off. We'll come back Thursday and prepare for Maryville. Really good Maryville team that we've played the last 3 years. We know what they're going to do. We know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. So it's going to be about players going out there and performing. We'll make the adjustments on the fly, the needed adjustments. But it's going to be a weekend where we've got to be on top of our stuff. We got to really be on top of our stuff with another quick turnaround. And I have to do a good job of managing minutes over these next 3 games, making sure I'm not putting too much on any individual player. So I can keep them fresh Friday, Saturday, and also tomorrow.
Coach, now that you've kind of, weathered through this whole experience with the team being sidelined due to COVID protocols, the men's basketball team is in the middle of a bit of that themselves. They've had games canceled this past weekend and this weekend upcoming. Inevitably it might happen to other teams within the Tornado family as we head into the spring sports. Do you have any advice, or kind of learnings from that whole experience as far as the coaching standpoint, the team standpoint, keeping morale up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We talked about this some on our last Zoom staff meeting call. It's mainly about just being flexible, and being able to roll with what you've been given. Like you said, Phil, it's kind of inevitable. It's what our country's dealing with. So as a coach, it's on me to always stay ready. No matter if I have 5 players, 7 players, or we have our full complement. Practice has to go on. Practice has to be go on, and the games have to be played. So it's just about being flexible and being able to adapt on the run.
Very good, Coach. Well, I know you're busy preparing for tomorrow's matchup versus Agnes Scott. We'll let you go, but really appreciate you joining us here at Tornado Talk. We'll see you tomorrow night at the Bosch, and hopefully the audience will be able to tune in and see you guys on YouTube as well. Thanks again, Coach, for joining the show.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Phil. I really appreciate it.
Very good. Coach Donald Hudson, head coach of the women's basketball team. They had their season openers this past weekend at Covenant. Really a hat tip to Coach Hudson and the women's basketball team. They went through a lot to get to this point, and they finally were able to play some games of meaning this past weekend at Covenant. And they'll be right back in action tomorrow versus Agnes Scott. Be sure to tune in to YouTube at 6 p.m. Brevard College Tornado Athletics and see the women's basketball team in action versus Agnes Scott, 6 p.m. Tuesday from the Boschmer Gymnasium. And we're going to be joined now by a couple of those women's basketball student athletes who made the trip this weekend as well, and 2 familiar faces to Tornado Talk. You guys are starting to set some records yourself as far as appearances here on Tornado Talk. So great to have you 2 seniors, Baylor Ray and Shakirah Thompson from the women's basketball team. Ladies, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, as we talked with Coach about, it was a long journey for you guys to finally get to, playing some actual games in USA South Conference action, and you guys were able to experience it this past weekend. Same question I had for Coach. If you can reflect back on when you finally got word that this game was going to happen, that when you saw that email that said, hey, everyone's clear, COVID protocols have been met, it's time to play basketball. Do you remember how that felt, Bailey?
Yeah, I was super, super excited. We've been wanting to get out there. We've been practicing for a really long time. And for me personally, I've been waiting for really 2 seasons for this opportunity. So I was super excited.
Very good. And Shakirah, you remember that moment yourself?
Yeah, I remember that moment. I was sitting in the athletic offices. I think I was with Molly, and she told me look at my email, and I saw that Miranda had emailed us saying, "Let's go," was the headline on the email saying that we were going to be able to play, and I was really excited.
Now, you had to wait this thing out, and there was a roller coaster ride of postponements and cancellations and COVID protocols and quarantines and all these things. What was the key as far as kind of keeping your morale up personally, and then also the morale of the team? Bailey?
I think it was just us communicating with each other and coach communicating with us, to keep our heads up and to stay positive that our time will come. So.
Shakirah?
Yeah, pretty much like Bailey said, coach kind of kept us in the loop of everything. So it kind of made it easier on us to know where we had planned ahead. And we just had to stay in the gym and keep our minds focused when we could.
Then you get to Covenant, Lookout Mountain, Georgia, and you guys are upperclassmen, so you've been there before, so you kind of know the surroundings, but certainly everything's a little different as far as the vibe at these games, no fans and things like that. Can you talk about, sort of, the game itself and when you walked in the gym and where your mindset was then?
I think that to me it didn't really feel that much different. I know like during the game we were extremely loud. Like both teams were pretty loud. There were times where we really couldn't even hear one another. So the energy was really, really good for not having any fans. So.
Yeah, that's impressive that kind of energy can still occur in an empty building. But I guess the benches alone can make some noise if you want to, right, Shakira?
Yeah, and pretty much we couldn't really like hear plays that were being called at sometimes. Like sometimes we had to just like go on the fly and with a play we were doing because we couldn't hear what was being called.
Now, as far as the games itself, obviously you hate to see the L column at the end of the day, but I know you guys were able to grow a lot from game 1 to game 2. Can you talk about that improvement from the Friday game to the Saturday game, the things you guys were? I don't know if you caught the end of that question there, Bailey, but I was asking as far as the improvement from games 1 to 2 on the Friday to Saturday, the things you guys were pleased with as far as what you're able to improve on.
Yeah, I think we had, 2 freshmen that had to step up and play big minutes. And we were all really nervous in the first game. And I think those 2 in particular responded really well in the second game. And we handled pressure better in the second game. And we were on the glass a lot better. So.
And Shakira, what did you notice as far as from game 1 to game 2?
I noticed we got our jitters out of the way, like kind of like what Coach said, and we did get the turnovers down, and I think we learned how to play just a little bit more together than we did on Friday. Like it wasn't as much chaos going on, and when we talked in the locker room at halftime, we realized what we had to do to get better as a team.
And then back to campus, and preparation has already begun for another game. It's right around the corner tomorrow versus Agnes Scott. Can you kind of tell folks a little bit, what behind the curtain, what the women's basketball team's schedule has been like, what you guys have been focused on once you return to campus and then heading into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think we've been trying to practice some of the things that we didn't do particularly well, like handle pressure and communicating plays and rebounds and stuff, and then really just taking care of our bodies because we have a lot of quick turnaround, and so we're really trying to get in the training room and get shots up, but also rest at the same time.
Shakira?
Yeah, we mostly have to work on. We were mostly doing the things that we didn't do well in the game, like handling pressure and like going all the way through plays and things like that. And as well as Bailey said, getting rest was the most extreme part for us because we did play a lot of minutes on Friday and Saturday.
Now, I do want to talk about your fellow senior. She had a big game individually on Saturday. Deja Riddick, a double-double. You know, she can light it up and also get it done on the glass. You know, 15 points, 6 field goals made, 11 boards, and, you know, gets that double-double. Can you guys talk about her a little bit and, you know, sort of what she brings as a teammate, but also as kind of a force, you know, to be reckoned with on the basketball court? Love to hear you guys' thoughts on your fellow senior Deja. Bailey, go for it.
I love Deja. She's just like a burst of energy. You know, if we need a rebound, if we need a bucket, you know we can always go to her. She plays so hard. She's just, you know, she's fun to even watch, and I'm just glad that she's at Brevard and not anywhere else, because she can be a lot to handle.
Yeah, just pretty much
no
what Bailey
doubt.
said. She's just like, if we're down, she's always the one to pick us up. Like, she's always there. If we need help with something, she's there, and she just brings a lot of energy to the team. And it's never a play where we think she's not giving her all. It's always 100% with Deja.
Now, the other player that, you know, put up some pretty good numbers this weekend, and we were hoping to have her on the show, but she's got class tonight, is Avery Lockwood. 10 points, 8 rebounds in game 1, and then 6 boards in game 2. She can get it done on that low post. You know, you guys know these players better than anybody since you spend so much time on the practice court with them. Love to hear your thoughts on Avery and what she brings as a teammate.
Yeah, again, I love Avery too. She's super, super great person aside from basketball, but she could be like the best post player at any given game. You know, she's consistent on the glass. I've gone against her many times in practice. You know, she's a lot to handle down there as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much what Bailey said. And I think she brings a lot of positivity to the team. Like, if we're down, she always trying to pick us up, and she's always trying to gather the team and tell us keep our head in the game and things like that.
A few other numbers from that Saturday matchup: Victoria Greene, who's a familiar name to NATO Nation, with 9 points, and then 2 names that a lot of Tornado fans may not have, you know, really considered yet or had the chance to see. China Pouncey with 8 points, and also Caitlin Light with 8 points. Love to hear from you guys as far as the newcomers go, and, you know, what they're bringing to the equation. Bailey?
Yeah, y'all are going to have a great time watching them for 4 years. China is a lot like Deja. She's so energetic, and she's so gifted athletically, and, you know, she's just a bright person to be around. And then Light, she's got great basketball IQ, and, you know, she leads really well for a freshman. And I think that both of them are amazing, and, you know, y'all are going to have a great time watching them for 4 years.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Bailey. China is definitely another Deja. like if China makes a play in practice, Deja's right there giving her a high five. And I think that Caitlin's going to be a very good point guard, and she can also shoot the ball well. It's going to be fun watching them grow as players.
Yeah, fun for the rest of the season, and like Bailey mentioned, you know, fun for, you know, the upcoming years as well. And, you know, there's Stephanie Renee Johnson, you know, with the shout out to you guys. I know she's a huge supporter of Brevard College women's basketball. Well, Bailey Ray, senior from nearby Hendersonville, North Carolina, Hendersonville High School. We did have each of you on the show not too long ago, but in case folks missed that, would like to tell folks a little bit, you know, what are you majoring in? What are you going to have your degree in? And then, you know, what are you looking to do post-graduation now that you're a senior?
Yeah, I'm getting my degree in exercise science, coaching minor, and then my teacher's license, and I'm looking to coach and teach after school.
Very good. And Shakirah Thompson, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia. And also want to mention Shakira spends a lot of time. She mentioned that she was in the athletic suites when that email came through. And I know you put in a lot of time behind the scenes helping our operation. So thank you for that, Shakira. Can you tell folks a little bit about your studies and what you're hoping to do post-graduation?
Yes, I'm getting a degree in business, and I'm planning to do marketing in my dad's business. He has a cleaning business.
Very good. I'm glad you guys have already got some of those plans formulated, and really wish you all the best as you head towards the finish line here on your careers at Brevard College. But still, in the meantime, work to be done beginning tomorrow versus Agnes Scott. For folks who might not have had the chance to see Brevard College women's basketball on YouTube yet, can you kind of give them a little bit of a sales pitch, what the team's all about and why they should tune in tomorrow? Bailey?
Yeah, I mean, like Coach says, we're a sisterhood. So you're going to see a sisterhood. You're going to see a bunch of ladies with super high energy ready to go. So.
Yeah, I also wanted to say it's going to be, you're definitely going to see sisterhood. Every huddle, that's what we end with, sisterhood. And I think you're going to love seeing us fly around the court, as Coach loves to say.
Very good. Well, you guys had this opportunity earlier in the season, but I'm going to give it to you again because, I do want you, in case you remembered somebody you might have left out. But Bailey Ray, the floor is yours. Anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to, someone who may have helped you along the way?
Yeah, I would like to thank my family and the coaches again, and really the training staff. They've really, really helped me through, and they're continuing to help me, and I really appreciate it.
And Shakirah Thompson, the fellow senior, shout outs, thank yous for us.
Yes, I would like to thank my family as well and the coaches. And I'd like to give a shout out to Mrs. Ware, Bree's mom from last year. I didn't give her one last time.
Very good. Well, nicely done, ladies, on this appearance at Tornado Talk. We can't wait to see you in action tomorrow versus Agnes Scott. Tune in, folks, to the YouTube channel and get to see these two student athletes and, that entire women's basketball team in action, 6:00 Tuesday versus Agnes Scott. And then again this weekend, games against Maryville. Thanks again, Bailey Ray and Shakirah Thompson, for joining the program.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Very good. And there they go. Women's basketball student athletes. Once again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in to the YouTube channel for Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and you can experience those tornadoes in action. And join now, looking forward to this next guest, to the newest member of the administrative staff at Brevard College Tornado Athletics, Kayla Robles, Director of Compliance and Academic Services. She began back on December 1st. It's been a lightning quick, ramp up for Kayla, and she's been so busy. We haven't had the chance to get her on here officially on Tornado Talk to give her an official welcome to NATO Nation, but we're excited to introduce to you Kaylee Robles, the Director of Compliance and Academic Services for the Athletic Department at Brevard College. Kayla, thanks for joining the program.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can. Yeah.
After all this time, still can't figure out Zoom, right? Thank you, Phil, for having me on. I'm
the
very
mute
looking
button.
forward to being here.
Very good. It's almost like there's at this point Zoom fatigue. I think it is, for anyone who, especially if you work in any sort of like office setting, you've done so many Zoom meetings at this point. Everybody knows, how to do a Zoom meeting, but you're right. Like, it's just a little thing like the mute button at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, it's great to have you. Kayla, we're thrilled that you're part of the Tornado family now, and want to just officially welcome you here to Brevard, North Carolina, and Brevard College. First question's a simple one. You started on December 1st. How has it been so far?
It's been busy, like you said. Definitely of coming in at the end of a semester and then coming in at the beginning of a semester has its busy times, but I love it. I think it's going great. I mean, a way to learn ways is to kind of just be thrown in the fire and just learning as you go, and it's been great.
Now, for folks who might not, really know the ins and outs of athletic departments and, how college athletics works and that kind of thing, compliance in academic services. Can you tell folks what that is? What do you do?
Yeah, so in the simplest terms, I do a lot of making sure the student athletes are eligible to play. So that can go from making sure they're full time, making sure that they do the compliance forms, the medical forms, and then as the semester goes on, it's making sure that they are keeping up with their classes and making sure that they are doing well as a student athlete.
Yeah, no doubt. Really important role that a lot of people don't even realize, might even exist. Compliance, making sure the athletic department follows all the rules and, doesn't get in trouble, most certainly. And, in that everyone is eligible and that kind of thing, but also that academic support, so critical. Now, I do want to let folks know a little bit about your background, and, I'd like to take it sort of one step at a time as far as, your experience and what got you here, and want to start with your experience as a student athlete. You were at NCAA Division II Valdosta State. You were a standout women's soccer player, all sorts of awards, both on and off the field. Can you talk about that now in your current role? What being a student athlete on, that level at Division II, how that helped you prepare for what you're doing today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't know I could work in college athletics up until my sophomore year. I had the opportunity to go to the NCAA convention, and I was like, all these people, this is what goes on behind the scenes of like games and all the rules and a broadcast and all of it. I was amazed. And what really drew me into it was really how much the athletic departments and the ADs asked me I was 20 years old. I was 20 years old, and they were like, "Hey, what do you think the roles of should be?" And I'm like, it really stood out to me of just like how much they do take in the student athlete voice. And as a D2 athlete, it was awesome because I was able to play sports and be involved on campus and do so much on and off the field.
Yeah, you mentioned being the SAC representative for the National Student Athlete Advisory Committee, going to that NCAA convention. And you also were named Georgia's most positive collegiate athlete by Positive Athlete Georgia, an organization that NFL star Hines Ward started that ceremony at the College Football Hall of Fame. That had to be a heck of an experience, Kayla, to receive that award at such a great setting as the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a whirlwind. It was awesome, not only to be there and represent Valdosta, but I got to meet so many high schoolers as well that were making such a huge impact in Georgia, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Outstanding. Then after graduation from Valdosta State, Ohio University becomes the next stop on the roadmap up in Athens, Ohio, and you pursued your master's degree there in sports administration, and you also were a graduate assistant there at Ohio University, which, by the way, one of the top sports management programs in the country, if not top of the list. There's a nice healthy debate that you and I have talked about on that, but certainly Ohio University as good as they get with sports management. Can you talk about that experience, being at Ohio University and how that helped you prepare?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't speak highly enough of my time there. I got to learn not only college athletics, but it was also pro sports and agencies and facilities. And it was a very well-rounded approach. And I wanted that as going into my master's. I was okay, do I want to do college? Do I want to explore some more options? And it was awesome. But I knew whenever I was all leaving that, I want to do college sports.
You head to Indianapolis for an experience at the NCAA. Postgraduate academic membership affairs intern, and you're working out of the headquarters in Indianapolis. So I can't imagine a more of a fast track as far as learning this side of the business than actually being in NCAA headquarters. Can you tell us more about your experience at NCAA in Indianapolis?
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible. It was very fast. Definitely. I feel I was there for a year, and I learned so much about the rules. And in that space, I worked with a D3 team. So I was able to, I had a group of schools, and at the NCAA, yes, I was a intern, but I worked like a full-time employee, and I was treated like a one as well. And I had my schools. I also had all of the schools that I had that I was able to answer questions, and it was more along the lines of making sure that these schools were educated as well as being able to answer questions.
Very good. Well, you saw our producer, Patrick Hall, doing a little patchwork here, kind of the theme of the night, Zoom-like technology and the hurdles that it presents. But glad we're able to pull it all off. And, glad you're able to have that experience in Indianapolis at the NCAA headquarters. Like I said, I can't imagine, a better preparation than actually working at the NCAA. And, then I would imagine you were on the hunt for full-time employment. Can you kind of tell us how you found Brevard College?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I finished up May 2020, so not the best time to find a job, but I was very thankful for the time that I had. I found a Brevard by my supervisor actually at the NCAA. She's actually the AD now at Warren Wilson College, Johnny Williamson, and she called me and said, "Hey, I just talked to Brevard College. They're all looking for someone to fill their compliance and academic role, and would you be interested?" And I was like, absolutely. I didn't know where it was, didn't know and I'm like, yes, I would love to talk to someone. And then after I got off the phone, and then I actually looked up Brevard, okay, let's see this place I have never heard of, but it was a perfect fit for me, being from Georgia. It was actually closer than the NCAA headquarters, as well as Ohio. So location wise, it was great. And then the small school, D3 school, is what I wanted. I was looking for a school like this, something small knit, of something with that a valued community. And once I talked to Miranda, I was like, okay, like, she's great. Like, this is kind of like happening so fast, but it's like perfect. Like, it was one of those things, like, this is literally laying out so nicely. And at this time, it was in September. So I had been looking for a job for, I can't do that math in my head right now, but it had been a long time. And I talked to her, and then she was like, why don't you come down? And I'm like, absolutely, tell me when, and I'll be there. So the final step for me was just being able to get there, and make sure that the fit was right. I fit in with you guys, and I fit in with the school, and I just got great vibes from the coaches, from the admin team, the town, like outdoors, mountains. It's just like all right up my alley.
Yeah, let's expound on that just a little bit as far as this area goes. You said you were kind of new to it, but have you had the chance to enjoy the surroundings, the mountains, the downtown Brevard, Pisgah National Forest, the list goes on and on. Asheville.
I know. It's overwhelming. Like, I have a huge list going right now, trying to hit all the places, but I have been able to go to a DuPont forest and see the waterfalls. There's a easy-ish route to take where you can see 3 waterfalls. And then I have been to a Pisgah forest. It's actually so close. It's about 10 minutes away, and actually I will take my lunches there sometimes, just go out and walk a quick little loop, and that's great. And also I've been to a Black Mountain, which is in Asheville, closer to Asheville, and that's been great. I've been to the town there, and then a Brevard as well. I've been able to go to the farmers market, being able to check out all the calves. It's great. It's definitely like a small knit community that I wanted.
Very good. Well, thrilled that you're enjoying all of the surroundings here. It certainly is a beautiful place to live and work, and and also be a student and a student athlete. And we talk to the students all the time about this. What do they love about Brevard, and they can go on and on that as well. Well, I do want to end with this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, Kayla. And I give me just a moment here, because I'm going to read a list of names. This past February 3rd was the 35th annual National Girls and Women in Sports Day. So this is an annual recognition where the Women's Sports Foundation gets behind this cause, where student athletes, champion athletes, coaches, administrators, lawmakers, who are all committed to providing equitable access to sports for all girls and women. And that whole concept is celebrated, all the progress that has been made on this front. And we're really proud at Brevard College Athletic Department where we're at in this area. 17 women within the athletic department provide leadership and coaching year-round for the Tornado student athletes. Our leader, director of athletics, Miranda Nash, assistant AD and senior woman administrator, Stephanie Johnson, yourself, Kayla, Molly Penlin, who's the director of business ops and the head cheerleading coach, Julie Miller, our head athletic trainer, her staff of assistant athletic trainers, Caroline Pappin, Liz Kelly, and Nicole Harshbarger, Anna Grant, head volleyball coach, Kristen Rosado, head women's lacrosse coach, Bree Sharon, head softball coach, Anna Horn, assistant climbing coach, Kia Kaufman, assistant women's volleyball coach, Diana Loaiza, assistant women's lacrosse coach. One of the very few assistant football coaches in the country, who are female. Ellie Rudd, Chelsea Shaughnessy, assistant women's soccer coach, and Taylor Spangler, assistant women's basketball coach. 17 women leaders within the Brevard College Department of Athletics. Something we're really proud of, and something that you're a part of as well, Kayla. But as someone, I'd love to hear from you, sort of, what that means to you to be part of a department, with that kind of diversity, that kind of, emphasis on equality, and love to just kind of hand the floor over to you. Your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's empowering, honestly, like how many people, how many women that are here, and of coming into this role as the compliance person and the academics person it can be daunting sometimes. Like I come in and okay, I got to tell this coach oh, this is not going to go well, or this isn't going to go well. But it's empowering to have that many women be behind you saying you got this. And I think it's awesome that Brevard has been able to accomplish that. Of 17 names, that's awesome. And being able to walk around, and you're not the only female around, because that's not how it is at a lot of places. I've been so fortunate to have so many women leaders in my life, to push me and challenge me. And I definitely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those women that have stood behind me, be beside me, of telling me you got this. And so I think Aranda has done a awesome job of being able to give that a platform to women. And so it's just an awesome feeling to be a part of that.
Very good. Well, we're thrilled that you're a part of the Tornado family as well, Kayla. And, on behalf of all of NATO Nation, now it's official. You've been on Tornado Talk. You're officially a Tornado, and, really look forward to continuing to work with you. And as we continue to, enhance the student athlete experience here at Brevard College. Thanks again for joining the show, Kayla.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate you.
Well, hang with us here, folks, as we wrap up tonight's program. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, Cooper Construction, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Tornadoes action coming up this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, February 9th, 6 p.m. women's basketball versus Agnes Scott at the Boschford Gymnasium. I do want to remind folks, due to COVID-19 protocols, no spectators are permitted at the indoor sports, including basketball. However, you can tune in free of charge to the YouTube channel where you can catch all the action tomorrow at 6 p.m. The men's soccer reserves team heads to Belmont Abbey on Thursday for a matchup in Belmont, North Carolina. And then this weekend, women's basketball, Maryville at Brevard at 7 p.m. on Friday night, 2 p.m. on Saturday, Maryville versus Brevard. And then women's soccer with its season opener Saturday, February the 13th at noon at Eyes Lamel Family Field. And then Sunday, February the 14th, the men's soccer team back in action after that emphatic victory 11-1 this past Sunday. The Tornadoes host Piedmont in the USA South Conference opener. Want to remind you to follow the Tornadoes on social media at BC Tornadoes on both Instagram and Twitter, and be sure to like, the Brevard College Tornado Facebook page and subscribe to that YouTube page. You can just get the notifications when we go live with our programming, including all those broadcasts through the spring. Well, thank you for joining another program of Tornado Talk. We'll see you next Monday night, 7 p.m., where we will talk all things Brevard College athletics. Go Tornadoes!